Renting versus owning a home can seem like a clear-cut decision for some, but there are a lot of factors that people don't weigh when making this decision. In the long run, you may be surprised at which decision would be the best one for you after taking several factors into account. Because the truth is, there is no one size fits all when it comes to making this decision to rent or buy a home. So in this video, we're going to run through a couple of situations when it makes sense to rent and when it makes sense to buy. We're also going to highlight some key factors you should weigh when making this decision. And we'll go through some of the underlying factors that many tend to overlook before they make the decision to do one or the other. Hi, my name is Trenton Ward, and if you enjoyed this content, let me know by hitting the like button and consider subscribing to stay up to date with the latest real estate news, tips, and tricks. So the first topic we're going to discuss is, what is your retirement plan? This is one that isn't typically looked at because it can be a very distant goal. But if it isn't on your radar yet, I want to encourage you to start thinking about it. Because the sooner you put a plan in place for it, the easier of a goal this will be to achieve. One thing we all know is that when we retire, we will need somewhere to stay. And one of the biggest issues people have when they retire is the rising costs due to inflation. If you are renting or if you're owning a house, you still won't be able to completely get away from inflation. The pro of owning a home, though, is that the majority of your monthly payment won't change if you're in a traditional 30-year fixed mortgage. The portions we're talking about would be your principal, which is the part that goes towards paying down your loan, and your interest, which is the portion of your payment that goes towards the lender. Over time, your taxes and insurance are the parts of your mortgage payment that are subject to change. Most counties have a cap on how much your taxes can go up every year, so you would have some sort of protection on that end. On the other hand, traditional rent situations reflect what the current market conditions are. As you can imagine, if the housing market experiences another inflation period like we had in 2022, this could cause a lot of issues for those on fixed incomes when they renew their lease. Now, if you can find a landlord that doesn't really care to keep rents in line with the current market conditions, this can be a great situation.
It means, let's make a deal.
There are plenty of landlords out there that just want someone to stay in their home, pay their rent on time, and not give them too much of a headache. And as long as that continues, they try to keep this situation going on for as long as they can. Because the truth is, switching tenants can be a big hassle, and you never know if the next tenant will work out better or worse. But let's say that in your town you save about $500 a month by renting a comparable home. If you're someone that is good with money and you can invest it well, you can easily find ways to outpace inflation. If you've watched any of my videos, you've heard me talking about the Fed increasing interest rates, and you'll know that they're targeting an inflation rate of 2%. If you want to take the stock market as an investment strategy, you can easily beat this rate by simply investing in the S&P 500. Because historically, the S&P 500 gives you a rate of return of 10% on your money. So if you're somebody that's good with money and can find better ways to invest your money, you don't have to rely on the fixed cost aspects of owning a home. The key is to have a plan in mind and really think about how you can take care of your future self in your non-working years. The next topic we're going to discuss is, how often do you move? If you're somebody that wants to move every 1 or 2 years, renting is going to be the best option for you. Also, if you have a job or some other commitment that keeps you from staying in one location for extended periods of time, renting might be the best option for you as well. Buying a house is definitely not cheap, and selling one can be even more expensive. When you plan to sell your home, you ideally would have lived in it for 3+ years so that you can have some time to build some equity. This will give you the ability to sell if you needed to for some reason without having to come out of your pocket. Otherwise, you'd have to go through a short sale or a foreclosure, and those are just some places you don't want to be if you can avoid it. The only caveat to this is if you're interested in becoming a landlord. For the time periods you're away from your home, you can rent out your home and make some additional income while you are away. Plenty of people are killing it with Airbnb while they're away for short periods of time. But just keep in mind that this can be a big time and financial investment to pull this off. Keeping the house clean, providing amenities for guests, and dealing with the constant churn of people can take a toll on some.
Hey, why do you keep calling me?
Just be sure to do your research if you plan to jump into this realm. On the other hand, long-term rentals could be a better option for you if you decide to move soon after buying your home. Some people are clever enough to have the rent from their tenants pay for their own rent in other lower cost of living areas. Even if it doesn't pay for your rent in its entirety, it could give you some extra money in your pocket, which is always nice.
Money, no problems, that's what I always say.
So the next topic we're going to discuss is home maintenance. This is an additional cost that comes with owning a home. For your standard leases, your landlord will be responsible for handling repairs done to the property. For instance, if your water heater goes out, this isn't an expense that will come out of your pocket. On the other hand, you will need to set some money aside for this when you become a homeowner. Now, you can get most of the major expenses covered through home warranties and homeowners insurance. Homeowners insurance will be part of your mortgage, and it will cover the largest type of issues like roof damage, house fires, and other things like that. But for smaller issues like a broken refrigerator or an HVAC system, you typically have to rely on your home warranty or come out of pocket. If you own the home, you will need to set aside some money for your deductibles with either type of insurance. For your homeowner's insurance, your deductible can range anywhere from $500 to $2,500 for each incident. Depending on what the issue actually is, you might be better off just paying for it out of pocket though, because more than likely, if you file a claim, your premium will go up soon after that. The same thing can be said for home warranties as well. Again, this is additional coverage on top of your homeowner's insurance, which is the one that lenders will require you to have. This cost is not a part of your mortgage and it is optional. You can expect to pay around $400 to $500 a year for this insurance, and the deductible is around $50 to $100 depending on your policy and how it's written. If you are renting, these are expenses that you wouldn't have to have money set aside for. Instead, you could have that money going towards something you'd rather spend it on or invest it, because the truth is no one really likes spending money on repairs.
I don't want to do it.
Okay, so the last topic we're going to discuss is equity. Equity is what gives you the generational wealth when it comes to home ownership. In short, equity is how much an asset is worth versus how much you owe for that asset. So let's say that you own a home and you owe $300,000 on it. If your house is worth $400,000, then you have $100,000 worth of equity. And it's also the same concept with stocks. If you bought a stock for $300 and now it's worth $400, you now have $100 worth of equity. If you prefer to rent and invest your savings into the stock market, you will actually get more appreciation annually with stocks versus real estate. On average, real estate appreciates between 3 to 4% annually. Additionally, stocks don't have random expenses like real estate. Therefore, you don't have to have as much in savings in case something goes wrong with your property. But when it comes to real estate, equity works in two directions. You will have your normal appreciation of 3 to 4% every year, but you will also continue to pay down your loan through continuing to pay your mortgage payment. And the longer you pay on your mortgage, a larger percentage of your mortgage payments goes towards paying down your loan. So that means your value increases and your debt lowers at the same time. And you can use the equity in your home with things like HELOCs and second mortgages, and that way you can still use the equity in your home to buy things you want without having to sell your home. Okay, if you've enjoyed the content, let me know by hitting the like button and consider subscribing to stay up to date with the latest real estate news, tips, and tricks. If you have any real estate needs in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, feel free to reach out to me. My contact information will be in the description below. And until next time, peace.